Discerning Hearts presents In Search of the Still Point with Dr. Regis Martin. In Episode 5, Dr. Martin reflects on seeing Rome for the first time.
It was more than 30 years ago that I first laid eyes on Rome, a place whose enchantments I have never wearied of, despite centuries of impacted corruption and chaos, the noise and the dirt, and yes, the Italians, of whom there is no shortage. But that is the impression everyone has on seeing Rome for the first time. Some never recover, and for that reason never return, which is a great pity because behind all that is squalid and suspect, there are real splendors to be seen and savored. That, at least, has been my experience, borne out by repeated exposure to the sheer, overwhelming physical presence of the city. In fact, the first few days I was there, dispatched by my clever wife with detailed instructions about locating a place to live for our young family, everything seemed to conspire against me. It was beastly hot, the noise and the traffic were terrible, not to mention a great many gypsies determined on divesting me of my money, of which I hadn't very much to begin with. And by the end of that first week, I had repeatedly come up empty, unable to find anywhere to live. So there I was on the last day, clearly desperate, ready to throw in the towel, when, all at once, wandering into some nondescript church to escape the heat and the noise, I stumbled upon one of the greatest pieces of sculpture wrought by the hand of man, the Ecstasy of St. Teresa of Avila by Bernini, whose beauty quite beggars even the most exacting description. What Bernini had done, using a single block of the purest, most luminous marble, was to capture the sublimest moment of her life, the transverberation, when an angel possessed of a flaming arrow pierces her heart with the love of Christ. And from the thrust of that arrow 4 centuries later, I too would feel a kind of vicarious thrill, rapturous enough to persuade me to stay and to forget all the problems that then besetted me. Forget the housing problem, I thought. We would sleep on the street if this is what Rome has to offer. We did manage, however, to find an apartment, and thanks to the Baroque genius of Bernini, the 4 years that followed proved wonderfully enriching. What is it about the Baroque that so inspires, intoxicates even, those who allow themselves to be surrounded and suffused by its magic? And Rome, of course, is a creation of the Baroque, so there is no escaping it, especially if you wish to see St. Peter's, a magnificent Baroque pile surrounded by this vast colonnade fashioned by Bernini that literally reaches out with its immense, far-reaching arms, like a mother, to embrace the pilgrim who has come home to Rome. Someone once described Baroque art as, quote, an explosion of reality. In other words, it is not a symbol of anything, but a reality that brings about with an immediacy and stunning effect that very encounter with beauty, most especially the beauty of the sacred, that may carry the soul directly to God. Like Teresa of Avila, who, having entered into a mystical marriage with Christ, finds herself in a sort of sensuous swoon in which her whole being has been made radiant by grace, by the intense, transfiguring love of God, which anyone can see who, with some sense of adventure, dares to come to Rome to have a look. Well, thank you again for listening, and do come again.
You've been listening to Dr. Regis Martin in Search of the Still Point. For more episodes in this series, visit discerninghearts.com, or you can find it in our free Discerning Hearts app or on many other streaming platforms. Discerning Hearts is a 501c3 nonprofit Catholic apostolate dedicated to evangelization and spiritual formation through the use of new media. To learn how you can support our mission, visit discerninghearts.com.